to the DraftKings tight end analysis for Week 15. I'm Jason Gilbo, JGilbo11. With me is Russell Clay at Russell J. Clay. Taking a look at tight ends for this week. And overall, I mean, these are pretty much all the guys that I'm on. I think there's pretty much a solidified group at this point, especially this week and this time in the week where we're just like, we know where we're going. It's not good.
Tight end is so bad this year. So bad. I mean, we've had Travis Kelce, be solid the last 4 or 5 games, but even he, in the middle of the season when Macklin was healthy, he just had multiple games where he didn't get any targets. Cameron Brate, like 1 week, and then, he's barely targeted the next week, and then it's just awful. It's just awful. But, I think we have 4 pretty decent options that could be, the flavor of the week.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, looking at these names here, I think there's a punt guy that I'm excited about. There's a couple other guys that I like as kind of the mid-range options. You have an interesting top one here. Tyler Eifert this week, 5,600. AJ Green may or may not come back and play this week. But either way, you're looking at him as a top option.
Yeah, I don't really care about that. If he does play, I mean, that's obviously something to think about. But generally speaking, I'm going with Eifert and cash if I can fit it in. If you can't, then that's no worries. I don't think it's like an automatic play. But in terms of cash games this week, and especially at the top, Eifert really coming off a big game. I think he's going to be mainly targeted, even if AJ Green's in there. Boyd LaFell will get, some of the targets, but Eifert's role is really solidified no matter who's in there. So I really like him because he's one of the few tight ends that actually has that right now.
And 4 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks. I mean, he's back to his usual red zone monster self.
Yes, absolutely.
But the punt option, I mean, here this week, we've talked about a lot of, high-end running backs. This is a good way to kind of get a salary relief, and that's Jermaine Gresham, who's been quietly involved here over the last few weeks for Arizona.
Certainly involved. It's pretty weird to see the, distribution of targets this year. I mean, I think all of us can agree. We went into the year thinking the Cardinals had an above-average receiving core, and it's just completely fallen apart with John Brown. I mean, he might not even play that many snaps this week because of that sickle cell that's kind of been messing with him the whole year. Michael Floyd obviously cut. There just aren't that many options. Jermaine Gresham, former first-round pick, he certainly has some ability. Obviously hasn't had the numbers to go along with that, but he's got some talent. 2,500. He is questionable, so that's something to keep into your thoughts. But overall, against the Saints, I think this is a great matchup for him. Obviously, at the min, you can't really do better than that.
Yeah, definitely can't. I like him quite a bit. And as you mentioned, questionable. I think pretty much everyone's questionable this week. I was running through our optimizer, and basically 90% of it has a red Q next to it.
No, it's getting, someone was asking me for not a lineup, but, some guys I was on this week, and I was like, well, most of the guys I'm on have very volatile situations earlier in the week. And, I mean, we're starting to get some of those answers now, but, like, with Bilal Powell, it's like, yeah, I like Bilal Powell unless Matt Forte plays, and then I don't like him that much. So it's kind of like, you certainly are questioning a lot of things right now.
Yeah, definitely. GPP tight ends, you like Kyle Rudolph at 4,300. I mean, for me, I think Kyle Rudolph, personally, cash or GPP is one of my favorite tight ends this week.
No, that's certainly fair. I also like Delaney Walker in that price range. He's been good of late. They obviously changed their offensive coordinator. Ever since then, he's been getting more targets. They've been using the short, intermediate passing game a lot more. So I do like that for Rudolph, obviously, against Indianapolis. Should be a solid spot for him. I just don't I just have a hard time trusting Kyle Rudolph, I guess. I don't know. He's been doing this touchdown dance for about 4 years now where he scores touchdowns, but if he doesn't get that touchdown, you're kind of left out to dry. Now, that's obviously been better over the last 3 to 4 games, but I tend to trust the the long sample size when a guy's in his fourth or fifth year. So, I like Rudolph. I think he's a fair play. He's just not necessarily a cash game tight end for me this week.
Cameron Brate, another one you're on, and 3,800 is a little bit cheaper. We've kind of you've talked about this game quite a bit in terms of how you see it playing out. Where you like Zeke going off for a big game, you like the passing options for Tampa to kind of be chasing this one for most of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is the contrarian move. That's probably why he was last for me. I think this is a nice contrarian move, as do I like Mike Evans as well. So, if you think Zeke's going to do well and you think Cowboys are going to come back strong this week, which I tend to believe, then this is a really interesting game to attack that I don't think a lot of people will be on. Obviously, Dallas really suffering in the secondary without Morris Claiborne, so that shifts all their coverages around. With the emphasis they're going to have to put on Mike Evans, might open up Cameron Brate underneath quite a bit.
And Dallas has not been good against tight ends this season. I mean, in terms of there's a lot of funneling going down to tight ends against Dallas this year.
Right.
So, yeah, I think overall these are basically the four that I'm on. What about Travis Kelce this week? Any thoughts on him?
I like it. I'm not all in, especially, week 2 of Macklin back. I think we're going to see him start to make a little bit more of an impact. That goes for Tyreek Hill as well. Not that they're not startable. I just,
More of a line of construction move.
Yeah, Jeremy Macklin is going to be a guy that begins to take targets back as he gets healthier and as he gets, more reps. So I think that's something to worry about.
Yeah, certainly. So that's going to wrap things up with the DraftKings tight end analysis for Week 15. If you want to check out Russ's article, it is up on the site. If you want to check out the rest of our Week 15 content, do that as well. And we'll see you guys next week.